The biggest change has been moving from a very, very high quality grant making organization that had a pretty broad agenda to a very focused agenda where we're taking much more of the initiative to work on tough problems, a few tough problems that, in the judgment of our board, really deserve the attention of the foundation. We focused on three things. One is the future of our tribal communities. There are 23 of them in North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota. And there the focus is on nation building, rebuilding the institutions of governance, of nationhood. The second is in education, where the focus has been on teacher preparation, preparing the next generation of teachers and assuring that they're the highest quality generation of teachers we've ever had. And the third is what we call advancing solutions to community problems, which is combining our traditional focus on leadership development with an added focus on community mobilization to engage communities in solving their own problems. There's no question that teacher preparation is the right choice. We're going to lose half of our teachers in the next 10 years, and so we get a chance to replace. And the question is, who would you replace them with if you could wave a magic wand? Well, we don't have a magic wand, but we know that 25,000 teachers are going to join the workforce over the next 10 years, and the data is crystal clear. Great teachers do great things for kids. Now that sounds like a duh moment, but we really haven't focused on it as much as we could. So we've engaged these 14 higher ed institutions that will prepare virtually every teacher that will be hired in the next 10 years. And they've made a commitment that's never been made before in this country. They have committed not only to prepare great teachers, but to guarantee that they're great, which means for the first time ever, they're going to follow those teachers into the classrooms where they get hired and work with them if they're not adequately prepared to do the job. It's like having it's a guarantee. And we've never had anything like that. And I give these presidents and deans an amazing amount of credit for the courage that they've shown, because it's pretty easy to say we graduated them, what happens to them is kind of up to them. These folks are saying, actually, we're going to graduate them, and if they're not good enough, we're going to take some responsibility for seeing to it that they can deliver. And the early returns are great. These institutions are literally rethinking every aspect of the preparation of teachers. And two things really stand out right now. The first is the way in which they're working with their K-12 districts. It's not an exaggeration to say that most of these higher ed institutions had very little relationship with the K-12 districts. Again, they would produce them and push them out the door, and what happened after that was kind of up to everybody. But now they're sitting down talking with those teachers, with those principals. They're getting direct feedback. Some of it is harsh, and they're taking it really seriously, and they're figuring out how to meet the demands of the K-12 districts. This is a sea change. And secondly, they're transforming the preparation process so that, well, I trained to be a teacher, and I did all of my training in college classrooms until the last semester when I was a student teacher. Well, that's too late. It's too late, and it's not enough. And so what they're doing is they're moving their teacher candidates into the K-12 schools freshman year. They'll have been in front of students for 4 years by the time they graduate. The data is really clear. They will be as good as a third-year teacher on their first day in the classroom. And just imagine what that's going to mean for kids. So I think the early returns on this are great. We haven't graduated the first students yet. That's going to happen in the next couple of years. But all the pieces are in place for this absolutely transformational thing. And I can't say this strongly enough. This isn't happening anywhere else in the country. This is the largest, most focused, most demanding transformation of teacher preparation that's ever happened in this country. And it's because of the courage of these presidents and deans of these higher education institutions, which I tip my hat to them. It's amazing. Well, the most obvious is that change is hard. It's hard on you, it's hard on them, it's hard on the system. It's hard on the people who are losing, who feel as though they're losing, which would have been our traditional grantees. Many of them are very upset, remain upset about the changes that we've made. It's hard on those, to some extent, who are now benefiting because the relationship we have with them is about change. It's transforming teacher preparation. It's transforming governance on Indian reservations. It's transforming community engagement. We're a demanding partner. We want to be a partner, but we're demanding. So that's been hard. So I think that's the first and most important thing, is that change isn't easy, and if you want to do something easy, don't do change. But I think the corresponding lesson is that people actually do want to change, and what they need is encouragement. They need support. They need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that there are other people who care about what's going on, and they rise to the occasion. I've watched tribal chairs and council members. I've watched communities and community leaders, and certainly seen these deans and college presidents just rise up to the occasion when given the opportunity, and all we represent in this is the opportunity. We're not it. We're not the cause. We're not the answer. We represent the creation of an opportunity, of a sort of a catalyst, and it's just been so rewarding to see people grab hold and say, I can do this, and I am responsible for what happens, and I can make a difference. That's huge. That's a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We did clean out the closets, literally. We were overflowing with paper and files, and about a year into it, we decided we needed to literally figure out what we needed to keep and what we could ship off to the Historical Society. And for me personally, the most fascinating things were Mr. Bush's personal files, some of Mr. Bush's personal files. He was an enormously generous human being.